Hey, I'm Dr. Joe Nyamtu, and welcome to the Aesthetic Show Live 2018. This is a great meeting, a lot of excitement. This is about my 8th or 9th time here, and I really love coming to Las Vegas. Yesterday was the 4th of July. You can still smell the smoke. It's about 105 degrees outside, so it's nice to be inside here with Dr. Ron Goldfarb. What's going on, buddy? And Philadelphia, you guys won a sporting event this year?
Yeah, the Eagles finally got their Super Bowl rings, and I was present at the actual Super Bowl, sat in the 5th row, and my son went to Arizona, and he was a classmate with Nick Foles, so it was a little bit of a real homecoming, so it was
very
great.
Good. So you do a lot of male cosmetic surgery, and tell us a little bit about your training.
So in training, I was actually boarded in general and vascular surgery, went back and spent a year at University of Pennsylvania Department of Plastic Surgery because that was my passion and interest after the general and vascular days when the insurance companies came in and really put a real negative aspect into doing all those things. I thought I wanted to save the world. I was a trauma fellow back in my old days, and now I really enjoy what I do a whole lot more, and I think I'm helping people as much as I did back in those days.
That's a pretty common story where people, they have their initial training in something, and so many of the procedures that we do today weren't around 20 years ago, or or even less than that. So the Aesthetic Show. Look at all this buzz here. Let's talk a little bit about it. We're live.
The Aesthetic Show is like the best. I started and came here the first year. It was a real show, and I've grown with the show just like you have, and I'm thrilled to be part of the faculty and just give lectures and talks. And to me, it's about the colleagues that you meet, and you really do learn from each other, and that's what it all. That's the whole thing for us, because we actually want to help patients, but we could learn from each other and help each other.
Yeah, and the fact that it's a show, it makes it different from any other meeting, right?
Oh yeah, it does.
All right, so let's get into some meat and potatoes here. I'm walking down the hallway and through this crowd of people, making my way down there, and I see a lot of posters for M-Sculpt, all right? And and I think you're pretty involved with this?
Yes.
And so tell us a little bit about it.
So M-Sculpt it comes from the company BTL. And what it was is about a year and a half ago, they came to me and about 6 of my other colleagues and said, well, we have this device that works on magnetic energy, and we're going to be able to build muscle. Up until now, we've been able to treat fat, we treat skin with tightening, but nothing has really been able to build muscle.
And what male doesn't want to build muscle, right?
Right. And also it got approved for female buttock enhancement as well. So those are 2 FDA-approved aspects of the technology, and I happened to do the ultrasound studies for them. They also had CT and MRIs. So again, it got approved in 2016. We spent a year and a half getting all our protocols right and making sure it works and making sure it causes no harm, and the results are just over the top. So doing a lot of liposuction, which I've done, and everybody wants this, quote, high-definition liposuction.
Right.
It's great. And you can contour the shape, but if they have no muscle, what the hell do they have?
And let me ask you a question about this. So, because you see this, people talk about making a six-pack, right?
Correct.
And when they do that, I guess they're making little lines in the skin that gives the effect of a six-pack, right? I mean, it looks like it, but that's just skin and fat, right?
It's just skin and, you're trimming a little fat and hopefully bulging a little of the muscle, but nothing has enhanced the muscle to hypertrophy the muscle.
Right. Where
this technology actually does that.
So, Rich, tell us a little bit about, you mentioned magnetic, you mentioned ultrasound. How does this, in kind of lay terms maybe, how does this work?
So it works almost like an MRI where there's no radiation and no harmful effects to you. It doesn't heat anything, it doesn't cool the tissue. All it does is these waves go into the muscle and cause the muscle to contract of what we call supramaximal contractions. Like 20,000 sit-ups would be done in 30 minutes, and the muscle contracts so much you could never voluntarily contract it like that, or you get that lactic acid build, and you get none of that with this. You get no soreness at all.
Nothing, no soreness.
Nothing. And in 30 minutes, 4 sessions you're doing, 2 a week, and then you're done, and it just continues to grow from there and build from there. And it's just amazing with the results we're seeing.
That's pretty awesome. So is this multiple treatments? How long does it take to get this going? And
It's 4 treatments in 2 weeks, one every couple days for the consecutive 2 weeks. And from there, if you go to the gym, you work out and you can continue to build and enhance what you've gotten. But you'd never be able to contract those muscles like that.
And what muscles will this work on? Obviously abs.
Abs. So it works on the rectus abdominis muscle, and that's what it is indicated for now. We're working on other protocols for the inner outer thighs, for the arms. Eventually we're going to be working on the platysma for the neck. There's just so many possibilities.
Cool. Very good. Now, I know another one of your big interests in clinical things that you do is erectile dysfunction. And, you know, coming to this meeting, we've both been here a lot, and 8 years ago, you really didn't see much on male or female sexual dysfunction, and now, man, there's so many topics and so many lectures. So tell us a little bit about kind of this evolution in your practice.
So what happened is one of my closest friends and colleagues is a urologist. He's 4 doors down from my office, and he was quite innovative in all his kind of teaching and background. And I used to do, because I did vascular surgery, I used to do the implants with him and make sure the vascularity in the penis was adequate. And then he read this paper years ago that actually came out of Israel, and the paper said perhaps low intensity shockwave therapy, the stuff that they're using to pulverized kidney stones, may have an effect to break up the plaque and really fix the endothelial cells along the penis and actually create new vascularity to it. So we ventured out at that. We had a low intensity shockwave device and we started treating patients with it. And
were you involved on the research part of it?
Yeah, we did. Yeah. We've treated now almost 180 patients. We brought the data, and we do what's called cavernosography. So we prove that the blood flow increases, and we brought the data to Clemson University, and by the end of this year, we'll have that published. So we really have a protocol with it. The other thing that we do is after we do our treatments, we inject the area. It sounds a little gross, but patients tolerate extremely well. We inject the PRFM into the penis and into the neurovascular bundle in order to get more angiogenesis.
Now, tell them, what's the difference between PRP, platelet-rich plasma, and PRFM?
So again, that's one of my passions in life. When PRP first got introduced, and I worked with the company out of Becton Dickinson, the largest test tube company in the country, and they had something called PRFM. So PRFM is when you're allowing to go from an anticoagulated product to a coagulated product with calcium chloride in a closed system, that when you inject it, just like you would with fillers, it's in a matrix, so it stays at the point of contact, as opposed to PRP, which is a liquid. You inject it and it just absorbs.
Okay. Now, do your patients that you're using these therapies on, do they still take oral meds, Viagra and such?
Yes. For the erectile dysfunction, some have gotten off of it. Some have had to lower their dose, and like Cialis is supposedly 5 milligrams on a daily basis, and I think there's about 30 to 35 of our patients now that are taking it on occasion. They don't take it every day, and the results have been remarkable.
You know, the Doctors show in Beverly Hills, California with Dr. Drew Ordon, that's very popular show. Man, let's bring him on camera 1 second. Can he do that? Come on. Anyhow, that's a great topic. When I grow up, I want to be like you. That was Dr. Drew Ordon from the Doctors, who's a big supporter of the aesthetic show, so excuse that little wild break out there. So, Richard, is in terms of marketing this, okay, because males, I mean, what percentage of your practice is male?
I would say it's probably up to about 35% now.
Okay, so on a given day, 70% of the people in your waiting room could be female.
Correct.
How do you have to separate these patients? Do you have just guy days or anything like that?
We actually have it kind of mixed, but we have a front and back entrance if they didn't want to, quote, be there when the females are there. And we can make it isolated, or we can intermingle the two, and it's really worked out well. There's no issues or problems with it. What we find with the erectile dysfunction patients, that they're the happiest patients. And our numbers, and it sounds crazy to you, but our numbers are over 90% success rate. Nothing I've ever done has been that successful.
And this allows them to just perform better and longer. And
Yeah, now we're getting a lot of patients are coming in that they want to get more enhancement, number one, and they want to perform better and want to feel like they were when they were in their 20s instead of in their 50s and 60s.
So the enhancement part of it, is that,
Yes.
and I mean, is that your therapies, or is that you talk about fat injection or anything like that? Or?
We will do some fat injection. We'll give them again the PRFM,
Yeah.
which causes the angiogenesis, so you increase the blood
Okay.
flow to the penis and all those type of things. So
All right.
that's actually a real part of what we're doing,
All right.
as well as the erectile dysfunction patients that are, quote, failing on it. And what happens is you take all this Viagra and you're shunning blood to there, but if your vessels are blocked, I mean, you can take all the Viagra in the world, it's not going to help you unless you clear out those vessels.
Sure. All right, let's shift gears and talk about one of my favorite topics, hair. All right, and I don't think you can do anything for me, but you do a lot of hair
Yes.
restoration, or what do you call that field of hair?
Well, we do. We call it hair restoration, or hopefully regenerative medicine for hair.
There you go.
And what we like to do is, perhaps you're a little too far gone, but although, men are handsome just like you are and don't need that type of look anymore. But we find that men that are starting to lose it, or they're starting to lose a little bit in the crown, want to get an
Right.
enhancement back. They don't necessarily want to get a transplant. And we inject the PRFM directly into there, 3 treatments,
Great.
6 weeks apart. One of my colleagues, Dr. Sclafani, published a great paper out of NYU talking about the success rate of it, which is tremendously high.
Awesome. Well, we're running out of time, man, and we got all this energy happening. I wish we could talk to you for another 2 hours. It's been great having you on
great.
the set. Dr. Richard Goldfarb from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I'm Dr. Joe Nyamtu for the Aesthetic Show.